Tony Stark is sitting in his workshop. He is bored and watches through satellites what the Avengers are doing to each other. He tells Jarvis that nothing terrible happened after the dissolution of the Avengers. Here Stark sees Captain America fighting the Red Skull. Tony is surprised, because the Skull has been dead for a long time, but satellite data confirms that it is the Red Skull. Tony puts on the Iron Man armor and flies to the Captain's aid. At this time, Cap is fighting with his sworn enemy. The Skull shoots at the Captain from an unknown weapon and the Captain disappears right in front of the flying Tony. The Skull takes the Captain's shield and knocks Iron Man to the ground with it. Jarvis reports that the power of the suit has dropped to 20%. A MODOK appears next to the Skull from the portal. The Skull says that he helped him upgrade his soldiers. Now the Skull and MODOK are together. The villains open the portal and leave. Stark orders Jarvis to activate the Avengers protocol. Stark's drones find the Avengers in different parts of the world: Hawkeye in New York, Thor in Norway, the Hulk in the desert. A newcomer is also invited to the team, Sam Wilson. Sam comes to Stark's workshop. Jarvis informs him that an armor combat vehicle has been prepared for him, but Sam chooses a red wingsuit. Thor and Hawkeye are flying on a plane. Suddenly something crashes into it. Barton takes control and asks Thor to see what shipped them. Thor opens the hatch and sees the Hulk clinging to the plane. Thor hits the Hulk and they fall to the ground together next to the Avengers mansion. The fight is interrupted by Hawkeye. At the mansion, Tony tells his friends about the death of Captain America and says that Red Skull and MODOK are working together. The Avengers must unite to confront a new threat and avenge the death of a friend. The Avengers plane takes off from the mansion. The Black Widow is watching them from the roof. The Avengers plane is flying over Antarctica. Stark spotted the Red Skull base there. The base's security systems attack the plane and fire missiles at it. Thor and Hawkeye shoot down shells. But then MODOK contacts Stark. He is a technopath and can control any equipment. MODOK blows up the plane and the Avengers fall into the snow. Hydra soldiers attack the heroes. Iron Man orders the base to be smashed to pieces. He fires rockets at the soldiers. Thor destroys the guns with a hammer. MODOK binds Stark with his power, but 2 light grenades fall next to him. The Black Widow came to Tony's aid. The Red Skull tells MODOK on the radio that the time has come and he teleports from the battlefield with the soldiers. Stark can't detect them, but Natasha suggests that he look for a skull in whose blood the isotopes of the super soldier serum are. Tony scans and finds 2 signals inside the base. He throws the command and flies inside the base. The rest of the Avengers come under fire from turrets. Stark knocks down the door to MODOK's lab. He sees Captain America and the Red Skull connected by a glowing cable. Tony frees the Captain. He raises his shield and suddenly attacks Iron Man. Stark scans Cap and realizes that the Red Skull has moved his consciousness into the body of Steve Rogers. The Red Skull starts beating Stark, but he is saved by the Captain in the Skull's body. Iron Man uses an electromagnetic cannon. He turns off all the electronics at the base. His suit also turns off. Sam Wilson arrives. Stark asks him to hit Captain America. The Avengers break into the laboratory. Tony commands the Avengers. Thor and Hulk fight MODOK. The Widow and Hawkeye fights with Hydra soldiers. Sam turns on the consciousness transfer device. The Captain and the Skull change bodies again. The Red Skull, who has come to his senses, gives a command to MODOK and he creates a force field around Iron Man. Stark's armor disintegrates and the Skull puts it on. The Hulk manages to break through the field, but the Skull and MODOK teleport. Stark loses consciousness. The Hulk breaks through the ground and pulls the Avengers out of the Skull base. Captain America carries Tony Stark in his arms. Sam examines a friend and says that he urgently needs help because his life was supported by a suit and an arc reactor that the Red Skull took. The Hulk says that the plane is broken, but the Black Widow says that she has own transport. The Avengers squeeze into Natasha's flying car. Tony says he needs to be taken to his workshop. The Captain asks Thor to create an air tube to fly faster. Tony loses consciousness. The Avengers bring Stark home. Sam connects Tony to the batteries and starts the current. Tony wakes up. The Captain thanks the Falcon. Tony orders Jarvis to prepare the Mark V suit. Red Skull and MODOK are sailing on a submarine. The Skull says that the Iron Man suit makes him immortal, but it's not over yet. We need to destroy all the Avengers. MODOK says that he threw a company into the Black Widow's flying car. Tony puts on a new, more powerful armor. He says he can now defeat the Red Skull. Stark dismisses the Avengers. This enrages them. Hawkeye, the Widow, Thor, and the Hulk leave. The Widow and Barton talk at the statues of other heroes. They do not notice how MODOK's nanorobots fly into the mansion. Thor and the Hulk arranges sparring in the training hall. Thor hits the Hulk with a hammer and he breaks through the wall. When he gets out of the hole, nanorobots fly into his mouth. The Hulk loses control of himself and starts beating Thor. The Hulk and Thor break into the hall with statues. The Widow realizes that something is wrong with her friends. The Hulk attacks the Widow and Clint, but the nanorobot infects them. The Widow and Hawkeye begin to fight. Thor and the Hulk are fighting at the Avengers mansion. Stark and the Falcon see it. Tony wants to scan the image, but accidentally blows up the screen. The Captain and the Falcon rush outside. Cap tells Stark that he can't fight yet. He won't fix the armor. The Captain and the Falcon go outside and they are also infected by nanorobots. They start fighting with each other. A crowd of journalists gathers at the Avengers mansion. Tony understands what's going on and asks Jarvis to find a trace of MODOK or the Red Skull. Iron Man finds MODOK in the mansion and shoots him. With the help of directed radiation, he returns the Avengers' consciousness. At this time, the Red Skull passes into Stark's workshop. Under Stark's command, the Avengers attack the Red Skull. With joint attacks, they bring the Skulls to their knees. The villain teleports. Explosions are heard under the mansion. Skull and MODOK mine the reactor under the mansion. Tony says that if the reactor explodes, it will destroy Manhattan. Tony asks Falcon and Thor to create a funnel over the mansion. He himself and the Hulk go down to the reactor. Stark tells the Hulk that the reactor needs to be thrown into the funnel with all his strength. The Hulk joyfully obeys the order. The reactor flies into space. The Falcon loses consciousness and falls from a height. He is saved by Thor. At the ruins of the mansion, the Avengers decide what to do next. Tony decides not to dismiss the Avengers. The Skull contacts other villains. He invites them to unite. In Stark Tower, Tony tells friends that the Skull is assembling a team of supervillains. Stark shows the Avengers their new home, a room in Stark Tower. Jarvis reports that a monster appeared in China. Stark commands the departure. The Avengers shelter turns into an airplane. The Avengers rush to the rescue. Sam Wilson, the Falcon, flies over the streets of New York. He is late for a meeting in the Avengers Tower. Sam has a box in his hands. Iron Man catches up with him and snatches the box. Sam rushes after Stark. Together they arrive at the Avengers Tower. Sam worries that he is new to the team, but Stark assures he says that everything will be fine. Stark and Sam come to a meeting. Captain America conducts an analysis of one of the Hulk's fights. Tony and Sam enter. The Hulk asks what's in the box. Sam says he brought cookies. The Hulk pounces on the treat with appetite. Thor and Black Widow also want to try. A fight ensues for cookies. Tony takes Sam away. They encounter Hawkeye in the corridor. He is clearly annoyed. Tony tells Sam not to pay attention to him. They leave. Clint appears in the wall. He tries to shout to his friends and inform them that there is a fake Hawkeye among them. Tony shows Sam his room. Tools and parts of Stark's machines are lying around in the room. A fake Hawkeye comes to the reactor. He turns on Jarvis and starts the reactor. A portal opens from which shadows are selected. They say that the rest of the shadows will not pass through the portal until it is safe here. Sam and Tony go to Thor. His room inside is bigger than it looks from the outside. Thor greets friends, but when they leave, a shadow attacks Thor. Falcon and Stark go into Barton's room. It's a mess. They don't notice the prisoners in the mirror of Barton and Thor. Sam comes to the Hulk and sees his collection of glass little animals. Hulk says you can't tell anyone about this. Captain America offers Sam to train, and they head to the training hall. Tony goes down to the reactor and sees Barton and Thor there. He scans them and realizes that they are fake in front of him. Captain and Falcon train, but Cap is captured by a shadow. Sam runs away. Black Widow attacks him in the corridor. Sam contacts Tony. Iron Man arrives to help. Together with Sam, they come to the control room and block the Avengers mansion. They are attacked by the Hulk. Tony and Sam escape. Stark explains that this is not their friend. This is a clone consisting of dark matter particles. The Hulk grabs Tony and absorbs the shadow. Now the Hulk rushes at the Falcon. The real Tony finds himself in the dark dimension, where he meets the rest of the Avengers. Sam finds Stark's files. It turns out Tony studied the dark dimension and accidentally opened a portal there. Sam is attacked by the Hulk. The Falcon explodes light grenades and blinds the Hulk. Thor, Captain America, and Iron Man attack Sam in the corridor. Sam manages to escape. In the dark dimension, the Avengers are attacked by shadows. The heroes join the battle and destroy the Phantoms. In our dimension, the Phantoms have finished the device for opening the portal. Sam attacks them, but Stark's Phantom says that if he destroys the device, the Avengers will not be able to return back. The Hulk Phantom breaks through the portal. The Phantoms rush to the portal. The Avengers protect the passage. The Falcon creates a funnel and draws the Phantoms into the portal. He sends the Phantoms to their dimension. The Avengers fight with their copies, but the Phantoms do not have the skills of the Avengers, so they are defeated. The army of Phantoms comes, but the Hulk sweeps them away with his cotton. The Avengers return to the mansion and Sam smashes the device to open the portal. Sam demands the bigger room from Stark. Barton finds the last cookie, but the Hulk takes it away. Dear friends, thank you for watching. Like and subscribe to the channel. This is important to me.